All right. This is J&J Mondays. How you guys doing? And today's episode, we're gonna go right diving to it because we are pretty much behind schedule because we had to do another podcast
Yeah,
that
my
needed to be done.
podcast.
And I need to say it was kind of fun. It was actually entertaining. I hope you guys would check it out. Josh Talk is a very good episode. Something, especially if you're T2 fans. But we now have to do the J&J. We will do the box office.
No,
We have
don't
the
make
box
me.
office results, and we also have the top five new movies coming out. Josh again, as always, the fellow host here. Say hello, Josh, who's by the way using the Terminator image in case you guys haven't noticed.
Yeah, if you don't know what Terminator is, don't know Terminator 2 is, you're an ignorant pigeon and you need to watch good stuff.
All right, so I might as well just go right dive into it because we do have a time limit with Starbucks, of course. And yesterday, approximately 24 hours from where I'm talking about, there was a big news that happened. Everybody was covering it in the entertainment world, and it led me to be in a rant on Twitter. I did like almost, I think 9, 10, 11, almost 12 tweets
I
on the
only
same
saw
topic
maybe
alone.
2 or 3 of your tweets of those, and and then you
What?
told me, I'm like, oh God. I
Yeah,
need to have
I
stock
did a lot of tweets.
coffee.
Yeah, I actually had to drag my boy into this. I wanted to get his opinion on that. It was not a very fun tweet. I was very angry because I felt that not only I saw an end to a childhood that I have was privileged enough to have growing up. I was privileged to see cartoons in the afternoon and a whole bunch of cartoons in the weekend. But I felt that now the newer generation who doesn't have the privilege to have cable TV or satellite TV or Netflix has been totally been deprived of that tradition that I have grown up over the years. And FCC is to blame for that, of course, but also the parents in a huge extent as well. And that is the death of Saturday morning cartoons. Now, Josh, you have the article, am I correct?
Yep, I have the article that started you exploding into a million pieces.
All right. You don't have to read the whole article because if I read it again, I'm gonna just gonna go nuts.
I'll read it
Just
for
read a
you.
piece of it, and then I'll take it from there, and then you can give me your feedback. No, go ahead.
No, I was joking. I don't need you exploding again.
Trust me, I'm gonna explode anyway, but go right ahead. Because to me, this is prime example of FCC basically killing off something that didn't need to be killed off. That's what that is to me. Do you have the
It
article
seems
with you?
more, yeah, it seems more that the FCC made regulations, and then the channels companies themselves decided that the weekends were the best place to push it towards. So the FCC didn't do any, just started a rule, and then the companies were like, we can't have educational stuff happening during the week. Let's push it towards the weekend.
Well, basically, what has happened here, and this has been the writing on the wall for years. The FCC has done this a lot. A lot of ratings board have done this a lot, where they seem to want to interfere with authors' creativity, tell them what they should write, what they shouldn't write, and the same thing goes with animated cartoons. Now, again, in the '80s, this is nothing new. We had Captain Planet as part of the educational movement. Ted Turner took a lot of cartoons that were violent, and in turn try to put more educational, more family safe, family friendly shows on the market. There's just one problem. As a kid growing up, especially with me, especially with a lot of friends, we never talk about those cartoons. We never even addressed them. We didn't even want to acknowledge their existence. And probably the only reason why we watched them is because there was nothing else really on. Um, no one, I'm going to be keeping it right here. No kid wants to watch an overpreached cartoon show. We want to watch He-Man. We want to watch Voltron. We want to watch all the shows that has action adventure, and something we can go to school and talk about where we saw this. My shows growing up was Looney Tunes. I don't remember Looney Tunes being family friendly. I think the Looney Tunes was slapstick, violent comedy with featuring Bugs Bunny, Daffy Ducks, and all the other Looney Tune characters there. Same thing with Tom and Jerry. Same thing with even the last generation of that era, which is Tiny Toons and Animaniacs. These were fun, um, you know, slapsticks that I actually came to enjoy and love. And yet, these shows cannot exist on free TV no more because the FCC want to push educational shows, not just on certain shows, but on everything, and expect that's gonna, keep the shows running. I don't get it.
There's certain times where, first off, education, especially to young children, is important so they experience a love of learning. But the thing is, there's a time and a place for that. It's like when I'm watching, uh, just for example, the first Human Centipede movie. I don't want to be doused with, I don't want a whole big ethical discussion. I just, want to sit back and enjoy the film. Whereas if I watch a documentary, I want to be educated and want to make sure the facts are correct.
I agree, and this is the thing that I felt like this. Look, when you watch Channel 13, and when you see animation or cartoon shows on Channel 13, you expect it to be educational. You expect that to have some kind of a preachy message to it, and that's fine. When you watch Nick Jr., you're expecting this to be catering towards the ages of preschool to 3 or even 4 years old. That's fine. I have no problem. They're on a certain timeline. You know that these are going to be youngsters watching the show. When you see other shows like, say, like Speed Racer, you do expect some type of violence into it. You do expect something that will be pretty much scary for that matter. Perfect example, Mighty Max. I grew up with Mighty Max. I saw that from beginning to end. It was it had a message to it. There's no question about, it, but it was also a very pretty much a frightened, violent show that pretty much knew its limits, and that's the whole thing about it. I mean, animation back then in the '80s. Yeah, there were a lot of them. There was a mixture. There was a balance. Like in certain times, you know to expect animation that was set for preschools. You know, at a certain time, these were shows would cater towards the older audiences, and to me, that's where I feel that it needs to be done. The FCC didn't need to force that kind of educational law on every cartoon because not every cartoon is going to be like that. I shouldn't. The one thing I always said about GI Joe is I always find it funny that GI Joe shooting all these bullets at everybody and nobody got hit. And then next thing you know, I hear them talking about.
That's easily explained. They get trained by the same fucking people as stormtroopers. There, mystery solved.
But that was always been a big gripe with me. But again, when I see shows like Transformers and stuff, I don't expect them to say that it's preachy. I expect them to be what they are. Like a cartoon show that is catered towards the older audiences. Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, Melon Melodies, whatever you want to call it. The show actually originally started out for adults because it was that was something that will tie them all to the movies. It transcended towards television, and a lot of the episodes did not make it to television because of some of the nature behind the show. Keep in mind, it was done at a time where racial sensitivity was almost non-existent. But the point is, yeah, I've seen a lot of the Bugs Bunny shows, and it's just scratched my head. But it's interesting piece of history. But the point is that even with that being said, the show that they had there, kids watch it. Kids love Bugs Bunny. Kids recognize Bugs Bunny during that time. It was on free TV, and for a lot of reasons. Now, as the years go on, a lot of adults are complaining about the violence, to the point where they're saying, "Oh, it's too violent for my kids. It's no education equality." And that's to respond. The FCC say, "Well, we're going to have to make sure every cartoon has some kind of educational
Oh
value to
God,
it."
okay. So the parents are like, hey, this violence is so harming to children, they'll become pussies like me when they grow up. What? Why? I'm bringing it up again. The Animorphs series, what book series, was very adult, sometimes in content on themes and such, and it's like I came out fine. I came out after I went through couple insane asylums, but I'm still fine. It's not showing your kids violence or something that makes them think isn't going to suddenly make them unable to cope with anything.
Mhm. I'll give you a perfect example of me with this situation. When I saw a show or something that is deemed very high, my grandma will ask me one question, and she wanted to know exactly what I felt about it. What have you gotten from this show? What do you feel afterwards? And she made it clear that some of the stuff that's on television you do not want to implement in the real world. It's nothing cool about holding a gun in your hand and going all around shooting everything inside because it may have negative results. This is the thing. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because even though I was watching shows, there was someone who reminded me at my young age that this is just TV, not real life. Don't imitate what you see on that television set. I don't think parents want to do that anymore. They just want somebody else to do it, and as a result, we get
That's
this kind of
fucking
stuff that's going on.
lazy shit. They're your kids. You bring and decide to raise a kid in this world. You don't shove, the growing up part and learning part onto other people. That's your fucking responsibility. Because if your kid can't realize, oh, that's just fiction, it's not the creator's fault. Like
And that,
everything
and
in
that
fiction usually has liberties, and your children should know the at least Google something before saying that's real and I should do that.
and that's the problem here. When this whole thing started during the late '80s, early '90s, and you knew something was going wrong when I believe in 2001, 2002, you start seeing less and less um, animation, less and less cartoons on the shows, particularly on Saturday. By the time 2003 hits, there was hardly any cartoons on weekdays. Normally, when you go to school, you come back home before you do your homework, you watch a couple of cartoons, whether it's reruns or new episodes, and that pretty much gets you relaxed before you go to hit the books. The parents is cooking, you eat dinner, then you do your homework, and they help you with the homework, and so forth. And that was pretty fine. That started to die down to the point where you don't even see it at all. Then you had the Saturday morning cartoons, and you can tell the quality of the cartoon that just went down. You see a lot of these shows that were more educational than not, and I'm not against educational shows, but it was just nothing that actually stuck with the younger audiences to the point where almost no channels. I think CW, I believe, was actually the last one that tried to hang on to the Saturday morning trend, but even they just got tired of it because the ratings was poor for these shows, and no one really was care about it. This is where cable came in. All the shows that parents was complaining about got moved to cable. Yet I don't hear too many parents griping about them being on cable, doing the same thing they're doing if they would just be on free TV.
Hmm. Fucking sorry, I'm just putting my head in my hand and just shaking. Because if it's suddenly different because it's somewhere, fuck it all.
And this is what my beef about with the FCC. The FCC, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the FCC to me is completely outdated, completely obsolete. And the reason why I bring that up um, is because one, they're still focusing all their energy on what goes on free TV. I don't see them going after cable in terms of the context they have there. It's always just free TV. They have to stay by standards. We have to make sure the kids don't see something that's inappropriate. Animation, the same thing, and it's
And
just
you
gotten
know
to the
what
point
kids
where
can't do to
what's the
find
point?
something inappropriate? Spend half a second on the internet. Talk to a friend for half a second. There's going to be some inappropriate shit they're hearing somewhere.
What?
And then,
Well,
like,
that's
just
the whole
saying, oh, you
thing, and
can't
they
say that
haven't budged.
word. It makes it like, oh, that's cool, and so I should say it more often to be cool. And
And
there's my
then
view on
you just
censorship.
hit it right there. That doesn't. But you hit it right there. It's just that, look, if it's one thing is the FCC was going down the board with everything else, but the FCC only focused on on just one part. They don't go after. Same thing with radio. They don't go after the people who says all sorts of stuff on XM Sirius satellite. They are free to say whatever they want. There's no
What they
limit to what
want.
they
I'll
can
say
do.
that word for you if you want.
Mhm. And with some of the cable programs, they're cursing, and they're not even near the after hours. So to me, it's like, what's the point of you guys existing again? You're to actually regulate television that is and radio. And here's the thing that bothers me here. This is now officially the first year where there's absolutely no Saturday morning cartoons, where there's absolutely no cartoons on the weekdays. And what I'm seeing on in its place are either the following: Court TV, Murray, or I like to call "You're Not the Father." That's basically what it is, and that's how I call it. Um, Jerry Springer,
Oh,
and
that's
Who Wants to Be a
educational.
Millionaire. I mean, so you're telling me that you got, and here's the thing that kills me. You're telling me that you guys have a beef with cartoons, but you don't have a beef problem with Murray and all these other shows that has no educational value whatsoever. And basically, if a kid don't have cable, because there's a thing I always that drives me nuts. Not every household has cable. If you're a poor family barely getting by, cable Netflix is not on your mind. You're telling me they are forced to watch these programs, but nobody complains about this. But when somebody put an animated show on there, you guys want to jump on and saying it's inappropriate for children. Am I where did we go wrong here? Explain this to me. I'm trying to
There
keep
was
calm,
some
by the way.
acid, weed, and LSD involved. That's all I know.
But how is it that they don't get a free ride and people want to go after cartoon shows?
Oh, think of the
I just don't
children.
get it. They're not thinking of the children. That's the problem.
No, the thing that's
They're thinking about
you
themselves.
think of
And
the
that's how I see
children
it.
because if children are think of the children if they're giving bad, viewpoints in their cartoons, what will happen to them?
Bad Drew points. Have they seen Yu-Gi-Oh?
I haven't seen
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
that's dual monsters, but they more. I've seen Yu-Gi-Oh from beginning to end. I love the show, but let's be honest, they preach way too much in that show. Sometimes they repeat the same thing they just talked about 10 minutes ago. I mean, come on. So I'm not buying that. I mean, to me, it's just like this. I say just like a lot of the parents, a lot of parents who are very. Did you win off the air?
No, I'm here.
Hello?
I'm here. Hello.
No, somebody went off. I don't know what that. I think it's I'll figure that out later. But anyhow, here's my problem here, and I said this before. A lot of parents are not parents. They don't sit down and talk about what they watch. They don't sit down and say, "What have you learned from this show?" They don't say, "Do you realize that what you're seeing on TV is nothing but an illusion. It's not real. It's not something you want to go out and run around and imitate from here." It's the same thing goes with video games. The same thing goes with books. They don't want to discuss why this is not appropriate or why this is not something you want to copy. They want other people outside them sources to do the job, which is very simple if they do it themselves. Like I said, there were certain shows I have watched with my grandmother. There were certain shows I watched with friends, and even though we watched the show, we laughed about the show. There was actually a brief talk. It's not like a 10-minute talk. It's not like a 20 minutes. But she did ask me, what have you gained from this show? What have you done? What kind of stuff did you learn from this show?" And you can easily tell by just having that one discussion where your kid's head is. What was it that he or she have learned from the show? These are very simple things, but we don't do that. We don't communicate anymore with our kids. We just assume we just put them. Plop them on a TV set, put it on, and hope that they don't watch something that is inappropriate. We have a rating system. The rating system came after the Power Rangers surge came into play, and the rating system really much reacted with the parents' parental control remote. How many people use that kind of parental control? Not many. They just don't use it. But the rating system is there, and it's still not enough for some of these guys. To me, look, I'm not saying that the FCC shouldn't be mindful of some of the programming that is coming on. The FCC was invented because number one, there was a movie called Born Innocent. They had a very, very controversial scene that was shown on a family time. And people lost their mind on that, and rightfully so. That's why the FCC wasn't existed. At that time, it was necessary because it gave a barrier of what was appropriate at a certain time. But when you start trying to force creators to do something to their own work, bad things happen. Look, the networks have every right to say, look, we have enough of this. We don't want to deal with this. We just put it on cable and that's it. That's all you have to do. I mean, and you know what? So be it. But because of that, because of what the FCC have done, they have just deprived a lot of children that are growing up who doesn't have the luxury or the privilege to have the cable, dish, Netflix, whatever, a chance to watch cartoons, and they're being forced to watch things that is even more inappropriate for them to watch. So who wins out of that?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I'm not
Nobody.
happy.
No one. The world ends. Bye.
Mhm. So I'm hoping that that there will be a revolution out there. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the creators are just fed up with the FCC at this point, and the FCC is to me is an obsolete company who needs to really look at their practices. Because to me, when I see what the FCC has done, one, um, they're pretty much doing everything they can to ruin the radio business as we speak, FAM and FM. Two, they really they laws that they have to regulate television and radio is so outdated that they don't even think they realize that hey, there is cable now, there's network, there is all sorts of stuff now. People don't the producers who want to put their own stuff don't have to go to free TV. They're gonna go right around it. There's like a lot of shows now. And I think if unless somebody say enough already with this, we're gonna have the same problem over and over and over again. And right now, free TV looks like no TV right now at this point. That's just my opinion. Got anything to say?
Oh, stupid, stupid, stupid brains.
Well, that's all I got to say about that. I look, I know that this is something you did not expect me to say too much, but like I said, I was angry.
I know you
I
were
went on
angry. I
I
saw
was
three of your
angry,
tweets.
and
I
it's
was like,
not.
I'm
And
done. This is going to be on next episode, isn't it? Fuck.
But here's I got a reason though. It's look, I'm aware I'm 37. Why the hell do I care? It's not really me that I care about it. There's plenty of stuff that I can actually rant and rave about. The real reason why it is because again we had we were very lucky to have a lot of shows geared towards us when we was growing up. I had a privilege of watching Dennis the Menace, Voltron, Inspector Gadget, all these great animation shows that I've grown up with. Um, Saturday morning cartoons were like heaven to a lot of people. You get up early in the morning just to watch cartoons. We never get up early in the morning to go to school. We got up early in the morning to watch that cartoon. That was always the thing that scratched our parents' head. We just couldn't get the energy to get up to go to school, but oh no, we got to watch our cartoon. It's on right now. We got to get up, and that was always something of a fun time. And after the cartoons, we go outside and play. This is not the case anymore, and I felt that this generation, especially those, in my opinion, that don't have cable, has just been deprived of that. I mean, they're showing shows that, be honest with you, has no significant towards children unless you like Safari and God knows whatever talk show that comes on the weekend now. But it's a shame, and to me, the FCC is partially to blame for that. The reason why Looney Tunes is no longer on free TV is because of the giving time and the way the parents are, rallying together. They overprotect the parents that they can't put it on free TV now because it's just no place for it. The same thing goes with the last of the Warner Brothers top. tiers. Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, Freakazoid, all those shows disappeared because the parents just continue hollering about more educational values. Where the FCC say now all the cartoons need to be like that, and no, they shouldn't be like that. There's a balance. You know, like I said before earlier, if there's one thing, okay, this time, from this time to this time, the shows that are cartoon shows are geared towards a certain group of people. The same thing goes with live shows. Mr. Rogers' Neighbor came on at 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't complain about that. Who's watching Mr. Rogers? Preschoolers. The same thing with Bob Ross. The same thing with Sesame Street. And the same thing with 321 Contact. You know what you're watching when you watch these shows. So it's just a matter of balance. Have your cartoons that's educational. I'm not saying don't have it, but have a balance where this is geared for a certain group of people, and you know what they're geared for, and then have another show that's for older viewers that's going to be more enjoyable. Don't make everything follow the guidelines of what you guys want, because what's going to happen is you're going to see these writers, like they did in the comic book industry, rebel and basically go to another avenue where they can actually just do the creativity freely. The same thing with us writers. I'm sure, Josh, you do not want somebody to tell you to walk up to you and say, from now on, when you do your fanfic or any kind of writing, you have to have educational value to it.
Oh, fuck it. Literally, I would have one of my characters fuck something educational, and then, as they're fucking, give a nice, like some educational lecture as they're fucking whatever they're fucking. There, something fucking educational. I'm following your rules, asshole.
And that's the problem. And I mean, for a person who's want to be creative, for someone who wants to show their ideas, they don't want to hear we got to add education to our stuff or anything that is not within their plan. Because one, you're forcing them to change on what they envision, and two, they don't feel it's necessary. Again, a lot of
I
good
do
radio hosts.
educational stuff. I mean, I do some insightful stuff, and then then I do some not so insightful stuff. I just don't want to have to be, insightful for everything, because then things get so damn boring. And I blog because it's fun, not always because I'm trying to teach a message or anything.
I
Sometimes that's the
understand.
case, sometimes it's not.
I completely understand, and that's what the thing about the FCC needs to understand. You can't force somebody to do something against their will and expect them to just, I'm going to do it. Don't worry about it. No. Ted Turner tried that. He tried to have an education show, and I commend him for it. But come on, do anybody other than the fact that it had a nice ending theme song? I don't remember not one episode of Captain Planet, and I was forced to watch that. I don't remember none of the episodes of that. I can tell you about Voltron. I can tell you about Robotech, but I can't tell you anything about some of these other shows. And I think that's the big issue. I think the issue is that the FCC is trying to force too many things, and as a result, they fatally killed cartoons on free TV, and that's something that I found very sad, especially for the same people who cried educational. Well, guess what? You just made your children watch Murray, Jerry Springer, and all the other stuff that has nothing to do with education whatsoever, and basically is just trash shows that's not going to benefit the child, but it's going to benefit your entertainment because you like to see that stuff. I can't stand Murray. That's all he has, and the fact that he's on the air, nobody says something about him, but everybody want to complain about cartoons. It's beyond me. So that's my rant for now. I'll leave
You
it. I'll
said
let
that
you have the
about
last
10,
word.
20 minutes ago.
I'm going to let you have the last word because I'm going to move on to the other article
No,
because we are
I've
pressed for
already
time.
said what I'm going to say, and I need you to move on before you spend another 2 hours about it. You're
All right, we're
scaring
going to
me.
move on. We have. I'm not going to talk about the article too much, but I did send it to you because I wanted you to get an idea of what I'm going to talk about here. It's called Free to Play Gaming. Um, this is something that's been around for a while. A lot of people have made their feelings felt on it. Both was pretty much mixed. I am not a fan of free to play gaming because let's be honest, it's not really free at all. Yeah, you may be able to play the game that is free. You may have experienced the game that is free, but to advance any further to the game, you have to buy certain things that can actually cost you more than what you actually expected. Now, the article has pretty much explained about how a boy, I believe from Belgium, I believe I'm reading that
Hang
right.
on, let me see. Yeah, Belgium.
He had pretty much ranked up a bill of $47,000 in free to play gaming. Now, you have said this is a fake article, and I'll tell you why it's not. This has actually happened in the United States, where a kid, and they actually have settled a lawsuit against the Google as well as the programming of those apps, where it is a free to play game, but what they didn't tell the children or anything else that if you press a certain button, you actually purchase an item, and that item is going to be billed to your family's account. And this has become such a big thing that the family actually filed lawsuits against them because it was so easy for them to do it. This is a perfect example. I'll give The Godfather, for example. I used to play a free-to-play game called The Godfather. I think the Five Families. That's what it was called. I actually did a review on it on one doing my in my YouTube channel a while years ago. And the one thing I explained to them is that yeah, it's free to play. It is not a bad environment. It's actually kind of fun. But the problem is it's done at real time. And two, you need um, certain items to move the game forward. If you don't have those certain items, you're pretty much stuck. You can't do nothing. And that was the whole problem is that you need to buy something. Even though it's free to play, the item that you need to move forward is not. And if you're a kind of person who likes to play it a lot, it can run you anywhere from 60 to even $1,000, more than two games, three, or even a council course alone. And this is a practice that I do not recommend. I'm like this: if you say you're free to play, it should be free to play. I understand that the programmers need to make money, they need to raise money to keep the program and their servers going, but you need to be specifically clear. To me, if you have to charge anything to continue the game experience, it is not free to
Not
play.
free.
Not at all.
I think there used to be
Because that's
a Facebook Farmville, and it was just like you could
mhm.
do stuff on you could do stuff on that game, but then a bunch of good stuff. Yeah, you would have to spend money to get that, and it was just like eventually got to a point where I was like, I'm going to not play this anymore.
And that's the problem. And I'm like, these free to plays, and if you're not careful and you don't read the fine print or you don't look at what they're trying to do, they can fork up a pretty big penny. So when I saw this article here that this guy ran up a $47,000 bill, I said, yeah, this makes sense because it happened in the United States, and parents went on a full attack mode against Google as well as some of these apps where they told them you got to have more better safeguards about this because I expected when a kid was playing, I did not expect them to run a bill that high. Um,
It's yeah.
I mean, that was where I agree with the parents when they went after them because hey, you're taking advantage and you're being slick for what they're doing. And I say, look, free to play. I think the Angry Joe did one. It was Star Trek, and this is another reason why I don't like these games. Star Trek have it set up where you can't even move past the next floor without buying something. And if you do get the enough stuff to do it, it's going to take forever just to get what you want, and they make it very difficult where you may never get that kind of stuff to move to the next board. So you have no choice. Are you moving around?
Yeah, sorry, I realized I didn't have to set up the lighting since I'm not using the camera. And just continue talking.
All
I
right,
haven't had enough
but this
sleep.
is what I'm saying. I can see that. But that's the main problem with free to plays. Free to plays are not really free, at least in terms of advancing the game. A lot of these games are in real time, and therefore you may be, in the mood, you're going good, and now you're stuck, and unless you pay an excellent amount of money, you can't advance to the game system, and that's to me, is not a good practice, and this is why Angry Joe and a lot of other gamers who do reviews don't really recommend these type of games because the way it's set up, it's not set up right, and you can actually spend more than having the game console with a bunch of games itself. And to me, there's something wrong with that picture when you start going above um, the game quality. Any comments?
Fucking stupid and just ripping. They make it, yeah, they make it easy so that you could just spend more than you think. And I think with some, I didn't believe the article was real at first just because of how some of the people's actions. But yeah, there have been other reports of like the it just making like for little kids, they don't really understand the concept of money. And so
Mm.
if they're like, "Oh, click this and something good happens," they're going to fucking click it. And then
Mm.
their parents come
Well,
back
here's what it said.
and there's a shitload of
Well, I
money
can
being
see what.
spent.
Well, I can see where you think this was a fake a fake story because of the age of the boy.
Not
And
really the age of the
yeah, I
boy,
can see why you
just
can see.
not the age of the boy is like, "Oh, I didn't realize I was spending this credit card's money that I had attached to my account." And then the mother
Yeah,
didn't
that
know
I can
for
see understand.
over 3 months that her son was doing that. That, I guess none of the charges were
Well, here's what it
randomly
says
popping
here.
up. That's why I was like, this has to be
Well, here's
fake.
what the
That's why I
article
was like
says.
that.
Well, I'm gonna read what the article says, and then we're gonna continue talking about this. It says here yet another story that demonstrates both a clear lack of parental supervision over the digital devices and the company's ability to prey on addicts of free-to-play games. That's actually a very good comment right there, and I'll explain why. A 15-year-old boy in Belgium ranked up a credit bill of 37,000 euros, over $46,000, while paying, that's US money by the way, $46,000, while playing Machine Age, Game of War, Fire Age, online strategy game. According to the publicist, the teenager used his grandfather's credit card to purchase an in-game gold that would improve his performance within the game. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there. This is why I actually like the way they said two things: a lack of parental supervision and the ability to prey on addict free-to-play games. Again, I'm gonna repeat this: there's no such thing as a free-to-play game, especially if you gotta improve the performance of your game. You gotta buy something, okay? And they know what they're doing. These guys who does this, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how to get people, and they know who they're preying upon. Okay? Anytime when you have to use a credit card to purchase something to the plea to play game, I got news for you. You're paying for something. All right, I don't want to hear nothing about. Oh, we just need to verify who you are. They know who you are.
Oh,
You're on
fucking
their
shit.
server.
We need to verify that we can get your muns.
Yeah, exactly. Um, it says here. Um, it said while free to play download and play, the in-game gold purchase help players build cities as well as many armies to complete more efficiency against opponents similar to Civilization franchise. Recounting the events that led to the teen gaining access to the credit card, his mother said, "When I was planning to go on vacation, this is how she probably found out, I asked Robin to install some ebooks on my tablet, something I don't know how to do myself. To buy these books, I had to give him his credit card to of
I have
credit
given
card of
him
my
the credit
father's,
card of
according
my
to
father.
yeah, according to his mother, the boy also added the credit card number to his personal iTunes account. So this kid just word of wise, don't give your kids a credit card,
Yeah, yeah, that's
which
like,
was linked to the mobile device. Don't give your kids a credit card. I don't care how old it is. Don't give kids a credit card.
Well, except if your kid is me, then definitely give me your credit card.
Hmm. Speaking about the in-game experience, his mother continued while you are playing a ton of advertisements are displayed there, and even in an in-game casino that you can play. You only have to click once to make a purchase, and real money is being spent, which was exactly what he did again and again, not knowing how much money he was actually spending, and nothing showed what amount is that you are already paid. And again, this is something that I have experienced a lot with the Godfather game that I played with, yeah, they showed you how many gems you get, but they're not showing you the actual real price, and that's a sneaky business practice, in my opinion. And they do show a lot of advertisement. They show more than anything else. My sister had to be very careful. She knew what she was looking for. She knew exactly what to put on her tablet, and she knew what to stay away from because every time she was about to play the game, pop comes an advertisement. Oh, click here and get this, and they don't even tell you the prices. And she knew that they were trying to get her to spend something, and that's exactly what happened here. Let me move on and speak about this. Um, Oddly enough, the mother claimed that she didn't know that her son was making the purchase until a few months later, despite the purchase being ranked up over a 3 month period. The teen also claims he wasn't aware of the purchase. If you had a credit card, you should have been aware that you was doing something.
Yeah, and if you
Credit
hooked
card.
up, yeah, and if
And
you
again,
know where your credit card is hooked up is going through, you sort of have to, know that hey, I'm spending something, therefore it will go through this credit card I hooked up to my account. And then the people that are holding the credit card, 3 months is too long of a time to not notice shit.
mhm. And again, I'd say like this: anytime when something is supposed to be free and they're asking for your credit card number, cancel it immediately. Don't even bother going to it again because it's a con. All right. If it's free to play, why are you asking for my credit card account number?
Because
Think about it. Be mindful about that. That goes with anything, not just free to play. All right. I don't want to hear about you need to verify my account. You already got my account number. I'm on your site.
no,
All the
you aren't.
information is right there. You know. It is possible that Apple could refund the hefty cost of the purchase. Apple Research reached an agreement with the FTC earlier this year by paying more than $32 million back to parents of children that overspent on iOS devices. And this is something that I had mentioned to you before, right, in reading this article, that this is not the first time that we have heard about this kind of stuff. That's why I knew that this wasn't a fake thing because again, in the United States we had a huge problem. Google had an issue with this. A lot of other Indian companies had an issue with this because it was so easy for a kid. I'm not talking about teenager. I'm talking about kids ages like 7 to 12 can easily click on something, not realizing they just charge their mother a whole load of fees for games that they didn't even know their kid purchased because they thought they was playing something they already had on their devices.
Ay, that was stupid.
Well, it is. It happens. I mean, it happens. But like
Ooh,
I said, this is something that's been done. And again, I hope sooner or later there's going to be regulations on these apps. Sooner or later there's going to be regulations on to copy taxes because the one thing that is dangerous about the tablet being used by children is that it is easy uh, for them to actually gain access to it. It's just easy, and there's real no regulations as to what some of these guys can and cannot do, and that's a huge problem.
okay.
You're quiet.
I know, I'm like distracting myself with, making it look like the little penguin I'm holding is walking and trying to let this stupid wash over me.
Mhm.
It's just like I don't have any energy in me to be pissed off. The stupid. Hey,
I
let's,
understand.
rip fucking people off and make that a good business practice. No.
Well, here's the thing: the internet, and this is something that I think Spill.com had mentioned, Corey Coleman had mentioned, a lot of people have mentioned. When you're dealing with with online shopping or anything that deal with online, you have to be extra special careful because you don't know what you're dealing with. All you see is their page. You don't know if they actually have a factory, an office to contact people with. You don't even know there's no guarantee that what you purchase online is going to show up. And there's been nightmares about this being told by people, as well as those who them themselves have experienced what this kid in Belgium has felt, what people have felt in the United States, and that is they do a lot of things. They say it's free, or they say this is actually what we got, and then they hit you with this other stuff that if you're not careful and you don't see what they're doing, if you click on there, all of a sudden you got charged for something that you didn't really intend to buy. This is something that a lot of these free to play does, and they do it very effectively. And the people who end up paying, like I said, Apple has been have to pay up a lot of money towards that situation, and Google even had to pay up because of how how much the parents was in outrage that their kids purchased something that they never intended to purchase because it was so easy for them to click on that icon. All of a sudden, their parents got charged $13 for something they didn't buy.
Fuck. Stupid. 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 Assholes.
So I'm gonna ask you is this, and I'll say I'm gonna give my advice to a lot of people because this is not gonna be the last time you're gonna hear a story like this. You're not. All right,
I
whether it's
wish
gaming
it
or
was the
purchasing stuff
last
online.
time.
Mhm. Because this is not going to be the last. I'll give you some advice here, and this even goes with YouTube because YouTube there's a lot of cons in YouTube as well. Uh, if something says that it's free, and then they ask you to please put your credit card number in there, get out because it's not that there's no reason for them to ask you for your credit card at any time whatsoever. Anytime you give your personal ID number, you won't don't do it because all it is a con. All there is a dummy site just to get your information, and God knows all of a sudden you got a bill for this amount of money because they got your credit card information and they can do whatever how they want with it. All right. If it's free, it is free. You're there, you're playing, you're enjoying yourself. But anytime when you see something that's free and then they hit you up with something else, you gotta question that. You gotta really start questioning that. Now, if it's your choice, if you feel you want to spend a lot of money to get the experience of some of these free to play games, then that's your business. All right, but understand this: it may rake in the money. It may cost you more than what the experience is worth. That's my advice. Josh, you got any advice you want to say before we move on?
What you just said. I
You
haven't
got nothing
really
else to
played
say?
many free, quote unquote, free to play games, so it's not really my expertise, field of expertise, and I can't really give advice.
All right. Well, give me your experience on what you did play that was supposed to be free to play. I know you said mentioned one of them. Was there
Well,
any other
as
game that you played
far
that was supposed to be free to play?
might have been something similar to Farmville called something else, and then I played that for a little bit, but some of the good items you actually had
Hmm.
to pay real cash for, and there was, no other way in the game to pay for them. You had to use real money. There wasn't any other way. I was like, fuck
Okay.
it.
Did they at least tell you how much it costs?
I think so. I can't remember. It was probably back in like freshman or sophomore year of college, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's been about 4 years since I graduated.
Well, at least you chose not to do it, and you just kept it moving. You didn't. You didn't actually continue to run up a bill of $1,000 or
Oh,
more,
fuck. No.
because that's what a lot of people does. They
Fucking
get so addicted to the
Farmville.
game they don't realize
God. And maybe I used to play
they do run
Marbles,
up a
which
bill.
I don't anymore. But I did like pay for a bunch of stuff on there, but they, for one, told you how much you were spending, and you got some items to use on site, and then sometimes you got little perks for buying certain things, which for limited items. So I don't play that anymore. I play Subeda, which is a hell of a lot better site. Long story short, I've been on there 8 years, and the only reason I haven't, bought anything with money from that site now is that I don't really have the money to spend, and I don't want to, waste anything on that. But when I do come into something more financially stable, I'll probably spend money on the site maybe once or twice every now and again, maybe every other month. But that's because they
That,
actually provide a service, and then you can actually buy those items
okay,
with,
that
earning money on the site, and then you can get little cash shop credit card thingies, and then you can then get cash shop credits, and then you can spend that. So
okay.
it's not
So
like trying to
there
steal
is
your
the
money like Farmville or the fucking game the teenagers spend $47,000 on.
well, there are some good ones out there that's honest and actually do good. I'm going after the ones
Yeah,
that
that
doesn't
are
be that is not
dicks.
ethical. Yeah, that just prey on children, for them to run the bill, and those are the ones I don't have no respect for. But in any case, something to word of wisdom: be mindful of these free to play games. Look at them carefully because you never know, they may not be free to play after all. All right, we have a time limit that I have to deal with here because I may have to move this machine very soon. So we might as well just jump
Okay.
right into the top five box office results. I hope it's near. I hope you got it near your computer because I got a lot to say about one film that didn't even come close to what they were. And I'm gonna talk about that soon. And I'm gonna talk
Look
about the
behind.
other movies that made the list. What happened?
What?
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Okay.
That number six film.
Just
I'm gonna leave
making
that later.
sure. Okay.
All right. All right. The number five film that made the list here is The Maze Runner. The Maze Runner made an additional $11 million. They have already surpassed their budget. So far, the film made 73 million, so it is considered to be a hit after 3 weeks in the box office. So congratulations to The Maze Runner. Do expect a sequel coming out soon. Um, Number four is The Box Trolls. The Box Trolls, made by Focus Film. I'm a little worried about this film. This film doesn't look good. It doesn't look like they're gonna make their budget back. It made $11 million, as you can see here. The film so far has tallied up $32 million so far. Their budget is 60 million. So I don't think this film's gonna make their budget back. At least not in theaters as well. The ratings for this film was mixed. But I don't know if that was the reason. I just think that it came out at a bad time of the month. September was not exactly a good month for movies, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, I don't really know much about the box trolls. I'm interested in seeing it, and I'm interested in the company behind it, but I don't have much to say. I haven't watched many reviews on it.
I understand. The number three film was the number one film, so we have a new number one film, and it's kind of interesting because this was a tight race this weekend. The Equalizer. The Equalizer saw a 45% drop in ticket sales. It made $18 million, but it did made its budget back. A total of $64 million in their 2 weeks of the box office. So it is a hit. Many people have seen it. So a good number for the Equalizers. Hopefully, they can do some more before they get dropped out of the top five list. A lot of people still like Denzel. Denzel is still a big draw, and they love to see Denzel basically do what Denzel do best: kick ass and take names. So Number two, this is the first week out. It's Annabelle. This is a film that is pretty much about scary dolls. It has actually done very well in the box office. It's the cheapest film that came out this week. It only cost him, I mean, it
$6
cost
and
him 6.5 million dollars.
50 Sorry.
Yeah, it cost $6.5 million. This film made $37 million. So even if this film was to drop completely out of sight, this is a mega hit. So again, if you want to see cheap quality from films, put them in theaters. They may actually make their money back.
Yeah,
So that's
don't
exactly
get
what this
more
is. I
people
have not
that
seen the
idea
ratings for
because
this
they
film.
have been using that same. That's why, there are a shitload of found footage horror movies because people take that advice and you get the same shit
Hmm.
over and over because it's like, oh, we don't have to do anything but this one formula and ta-da.
Well, here's the thing. I'll say this. Okay, it's Halloween month. People want to get scared. This was the only film that came out that had a scary element to it. I'm not surprised it did well. It did exactly what I thought it was going to be, and the fact is, it had a $6.5 million budget. Hey, if this thing was to fail, something went terribly wrong. If they make 6.5 million, only make 2 million dollars, something's wrong. But this film didn't. They made 37 million, and guess what? It don't have to make anything else after that. It will still be a big giant hit. Now, here's the funny thing about this. This film, I'm gonna give you the exact number of how much this film had made. 37,134,255. I don't go all the way down to the other films. I just round up to the closest number, and that's how we got it from there. The number one film is called Gone Girl. I believe this is one of Ben Affleck's films. It
Yeah,
was released by Fox.
wasn't this the film that you said would fail? Huh? Yeah, you said it'd fail last week.
Gone Girl. I
Yeah,
believe that Gone Girl was not gonna do well,
yeah, you did. I should have
and
fucking bet some
surprisingly
money
enough,
on
it did. It
that.
uh-huh.
I always run into these rare situations where it should have been money.
But here's the thing, though. It almost tied Annabelle. It literally almost tied Annabelle. It's number one, and it made $37.5 million. That is a big, big surprise. I didn't think it would be
It
that
was
close.
the thing is, Gone Girl is based on a very highly recommended book that I've been meaning to check out, and I might reward myself after finishing the shit that is 50 Shades Free by Yale James with, something good. Plus,
Uh-huh.
it's directed by David Fincher, so,
Yeah,
famous
you
book.
mentioned that.
David Fincher.
Well, it did, but like I said, it's one of those films that I did not expect to be this good. I really didn't. And to me, that says a lot. I mean, it really does. But again, with that being said, I am shocked how close this was. Annabelle was only a few $100,000 away from being number one in the box office. That says a lot.
Gone
I'm sorry.
Girl. Thank goodness.
That's oh my god. So I gotta get credit. This was for both films. They came out strong. They came out swinging. Gone Girl made number one, but not by much, and people has been talking about it. Gone Girl has a budget of 61 million. I can see them making it back up. No, probably not in week two, but probably in week three. And they pretty much will make their money. Annabelle don't need to do anything else. They made their money. Most likely, they will fade from number one to number six. But it is something that says something, especially to start off October, where September, which is a bad month
Well,
for
the thing with
films.
Annabelle is it's a prequel, and a lot of people liked The Conjuring, so fans of The Conjuring, would come out to see Annabelle. So it
Well, they
already has
definitely
a
came up for
fan
this one.
base.
I know what film they did.
What?
Hmm.
What?
Well, I'll tell you one movie they didn't came out to see, and
What?
oh my God, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know. I don't even think any reviewers from YouTube have reviewed this movie. I tried looking for one. I can't find one. I'm gonna try again tonight. Left Behind.
I
It
want to
never
see
got
it.
ahead.
I
It
just
never
saw.
got ahead.
Okay, for people
No
who don't know,
one.
it's based in a book series. I like the book series a little. I mean, it's not like one of my top 10 or anywhere near that, but it's fun. But Nick Cage, need.
Well, I'm telling you right now. We had me and Jim had a discussion on Twitter
I
about
I
this.
was I saw some of that.
Um, yes, and you was a part of that
Isn't his
too.
career already dead?
Um, this film, this film is played right now neck and neck with the identical for being the worst film that came out this year. And I feel bad
I'm
for
going
Nick
to be in
Cage because
shock. It's going
uh,
to be
you
sarcastic
know,
shock. There'll be something.
oh my God, this film cost this film cost $16 million to make. Okay, I don't think it's gonna even make past 10. This film came in sixth place with $6.3 million. That's how much it made. $6.3 million. So only the
Hey,
diehard of the diehards have saw this movie. Uh, I I don't know what to
at
say.
least
You're
it
laughing
can't
over
do
there.
worse than Sin City 2. Yeah, they have to look on the bright side.
But since City was a blockbuster failure for a
No,
lot
but
of
it had a
reasons, but even
larger
with this being
budget,
said,
and
this was cheaply made, and
I
it's still
know,
not gonna make its money
but the
back.
thing is, it had a Sin City 2 had a big budget, and they weren't making close to making it up. But if this even gets 10 million, it'll do gain a better reward of than Sin City 2 did from its sales.
Oh my God, they need to do something because they need a whole word of mouth is good. But here's the thing: it's only got a 2% Rotten Tomatoes. That's it, and I not one religious folks like this movie. I think they try to compare. I think they're trying to compare it between James Cameron, which I didn't like that movie to begin with, and this film. I feel bad. It really does.
Oh, oh God.
All right, I'm leaving Left Behind alone. I feel again, but I think
We're
this is
gonna leave Left
I said this in
Behind
my
behind.
I said this in my Twitter. I think this is a career killer for Nick Cage. I hope he has another script lined up where he can actually make a comeback because this is not good. He did not need this film to fail. He really didn't. 16 million. It may not even make 10. That's crazy. All right, number 7. This is where I leave you. It made its budget back, $29 million. It made not a big hit, but it made enough to not be a fail. So their budget 1908. Dolphin Tales 2 just made their money back.
Oh, I closed out of it like once we
Uh,
saw Left Behind, but I remember I looked at Dolphin's Tale too and I face palmed. And when
it's
Dolphin's
underwhelming
Tale 3
performance.
comes out, no one will remember Dolphin's Tale 2.
Well, you know what? Maybe they will. It all depends. Um, Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Those rounding up the top 10 right there. We also have Guardian of the Galaxy and No Good Deed. I tell you, a film that actually dropped dramatically. I don't know if you're happy about this. I don't want
Oh,
to. Walk Among the Tombstones. It
sorry, that was
dropped.
harsh.
Yeah, it went from number 7 to 11. It still has a chance to make their money back because they are right now at 24 million. If you put the five, it'd be like 25 million. It only cost 28 million to make, but yeah, this was an underwhelming film for a lot of reasons, as I expected. Again, I can't. This is not for the month of September. This was not a good month for movies. A lot of it's the numbers that came out last month with numbers you expect from January. That's how bad September was for these movies. It really wasn't nothing that people want to run the theater to see. It really wasn't, unless you were a big fan of the actors that was in the film. But other than that, it just was a big, major disappointment, to say the least. Unfortunately, that happens, and now you gotta hope that this month give us something new and exciting. I'm hoping they give me something new and exciting this month because I want a lot of horror stories to come out.
Yeah, spend a day in my
You
shoes. I'd
there?
get a couple horror stories there.
I'm looking forward to it. I've been watching a lot of creepy pasta lately, and they're actually very good stories. And I'm hoping, I say hoping, to get one of the storytellers to on J&J Monday because they're so good. And I got to give you a link to one of their stories. I guarantee you will love them. You'll like what they do. They're very creative in what they do, and I actually gave them a shout out on Twitter because I think they're very good. Creepypastas, and I got into them through the latespill.com when they had them one of them as their guest. It was Mr. Creepypasta. I don't know his actual name, doesn't really matter. But he really was very good at telling stories, and I was really like, let me see what is this. And I'll say this: there's a difference between someone who's actually phoning it in and someone who's dedicating, putting the time and effort when it comes to making these type of plays. I actually do admire when somebody actually takes the time to craft their work, and this is why there are certain things about fanfic. There's certain things about just creepypastas in general, and there's some things about people where they're just writing it to writing it, and then they're actually dedicating themselves to the work they're doing. They're actually pouring their heart into it. You're right. You know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
All right. So I'm looking at my time. I might as well get ready to do the box office results here. I already did the box office. I'm talking about the
Yes,
upcoming
you
movies.
did.
There's a lot of films. There's a
You've
lot of movies
done
that's gonna
stuff.
come
I'm
out
sorry.
this.
This is what happens, folks, when you do two podcasts in a row with an hour break.
Exactly. I'm actually fatigued here. But this is the last thing. I really want to head out because I rest here, and I'm just waiting for this
Yeah,
thing to
Dom.
load up because I didn't get a chance to actually save it because my computer went haywire. All right. October 10th has a couple of drama films coming out. That means a lot of films that will be geared pretty much for the Oscars. We're heading towards that month, and I'm kind of curious on how these films are gonna add up. Let's start with the first film that's gonna come out. The first drama that pretty much will
It's
kick off the
called Iron
possibilities.
Man Can Do Serious Stuff, yo. I mean the
Uh
judge.
huh. Well, here it is. The Judge, exactly. This is a film that stars Robert Duvall, a veteran in the business, and you also have Robert Downey Jr. Um, I'm just gonna go right quick to the brief. It says here, big city lawyer Hank Plummer returns to his childhood home where his father, a town judge, is suspected of murder. Hank set out to discover the truth, and along the way reconnects with his estranged family. It may sound cheesy, but I tell you right now, with the way I see this poster, I actually like this poster. There's two posters I actually seen, and then the poster alone got me want to actually want to see this film. Sometimes the poster says more than the trailers itself, and I actually am looking forward into seeing this film. It also stars Robert Billy Bob Thornton. I'm kind of wondering what he has his role is going to be played in this movie because Billy Bob Thornton he can play a dramatic guy, he can play a villain, he can play an anti-villain. It all depends on what role he's going to get at that particular time. So I'm actually curious of what they have to see about this film. As for it being a hit or miss, I don't think this is going to be a hit. I think it's going to be one of those films that just geared to have the critics see it and just
I,
basically that's it. I think this is a
yeah.
film that's going to be geared for the Academy Awards.
Yeah,
I see
as
it
I
making 12
said, I,
million.
I titled it Iron Man Can Do Serious Shit, Yo, because Robert Downey Jr. Probably wants to, show people that he can actually act, that he's just not a comic book hero, that he does have range.
He
Which,
definitely
to
does.
an
Range.
actor like him is important.
Mhm. But I think he's a great actor. I've seen a lot of his serious roles, and I actually enjoyed some of his serious roles. A lot. The film that I actually always recommend that's one that I thought his comeback wasn't really Iron Man, but Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is an independently film, but it is a well written film, and Robert Downey Jr. was superb in that film. I was amazed. This is after he was outcast because of his drug addiction, and boy, he came back and came back stronger than ever. And I'm hoping to see more of him do dramatic roles because yeah, he's good as Iron Man, he's good as a comic book character, but that's not just him. That's not only what he does. And I'm hoping that this is one of many films where we see his serious side come out. So I wish this film all the best. I don't think it's going to be a hit. I think it's going to be like a $12 million film that's going to make the first weekend, but I think it's going to taper off after a while because I think this is again geared for the award season.
Yeah, I think myself, it doesn't really matter if it does well or not. It just shut up, phone that's across the room, so I can't get to it. That's why I haven't silenced it. But anyways, I think it doesn't matter if it does well or not. It just matters that it showcases Robert Downey Jr.'s range. And if it does that, and if it gets people talking about that, then it's done its job.
Exactly, and I agree 100% with that one. And I'm gonna be looking at this film. I'm gonna be monitoring this film. I may actually take a look at it, see it as a matinee film. But I do hope this film does well. And I'm glad that he's doing a lot of more serious roles again, and not just the comic book hero films that he seems to be more attached to these days. All right, we gotta go to Disney. They're coming out with a family film. And when I saw this poster, it was when I was actually watching Guardians of the Galaxy. And first thing I said, is this a sequel to The Odd Life of Timothy Green? This can't be a sequel to that film. I just don't buy it into it. But this had that feeling for some reason. But here's the name of the title, which bugged me out.
It's actually based on the
Alexandra,
book.
it is? Okay,
Yeah,
you'll tell me
based
about it in a second. You'll tell me that in a second. It says here, Alexandra and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Boy, I can't wait to see this. It's a comedy family film. The brief synopsis says Alexander Day begins with gum stuck in
stuck
his
in
hair.
his hair, followed by more calamities, though he finds little sympathy from his family and begins to wonder if bad things only happen to him. His mom, dad, brother, and sister all find themselves living through their own terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
Gee, this just sounds like a film that's I can't wait to see.
I know.
It has the star Steve Carell, Jennifer Garner, Ed Oxbon. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Minute.
Dylan? Is that Dylan?
Dolan Minute. Dolan
We could
Minute.
spend an hour trying to pronounce actors' names. That could be a show on its own. No offense to
All
the
right, this
actors
is
we're
the first.
mentioning.
All right, now Jennifer Garner and Chief Carell, they're veteran actors. I respect their work a lot. For some reason, Disney does not bring out the best in their live actors, their veteran actors. I don't know what it is. I'm a little bit worried about this film a lot. You said it's based on a book, so you
I don't
probably have
know
more
about the
better.
book, I just recognize the title.
Okay, well, I haven't heard about the book, and I don't know. I'm a. Here's the thing. There's no question. Everybody knows I am. When it comes to Disney live action films, I'm not a very fond of them. I think they sometimes they be over preachy, or sometimes just very bad. I don't. This can be a making of being very bad, over preachy, or a little bit of both. I doubt this is going to be a film that is going to be high praised by a lot of critics. Um, and all I gotta say is that our life to degree is one of the reasons for that. But um, as for hit or miss, I don't know. I don't see this film being a hit. I'm being honest. I really don't. Um, I think for kids' value, I think it will make like 12 or 13 million right around that line. This film is not making 50 million. This film is not gonna make 30 million. That down is gonna go up to 20 million. So it depends on the budget. I see this film failing. Disney's reputation for live action film is not good, and it only continues. However, this does not mean it's gonna be worse than the film I'm gonna talk about right now.
Wait, hang on.
I
Yeah, wait. I didn't give my hit or miss. And you're going to go on to Dracula.
Okay, go ahead. Did you hit the miss on Alexander Terrible Horrible No Good Bad Day title?
I think it's when we're going to want to fail horribly, but somehow it will hold on.
That's hold on.
Yeah, because I
What's
have some
so
movies
you think it's gonna be a hit
I
or in the
it
middle?
has a high possibility of being a hit because all my want saying no is going to fail is more out of personal want than what I think will actually happen.
Okay. Well, if it does, it will shock me, and I'll come out and say, "Oh, Disney got it right." I can't say anything about that. I'll tell you right now. As we finally move on, I don't care if you love the lore of this of Dracula. I'm a fan of Dracula. I love seeing every um, different version of it. I will refuse to see this piece of trash of a Dracula film. I'm gonna explain why. All right, I saw the trailer of this movie, and the moment I saw the trailer, I knew what they was trying to do. They were trying to be fancy. It's a sanitized version, and the fact that you have the nerve to say Dracula Untold is a slap in the face to every fan who will ever watch the Dracula films, going all the way back to Nosferatu. This here is following the post Twilight films, uh, gun towards teenagers. All I gotta say is PG-13. I don't remember a Dracula film ever being PG-13, even the bad ones that came out, like Dracula 2000, Dracula. I'll even go any further than that because I'm trying to keep my calm with this movie. If you can see right there,
I'm sorry, you're just like raging a lot throughout this episode.
this could have the possibility of being the worst Dracula film than Dracula Dead and Loving It with Lame Nielsen.
Leslie.
Oh God, I don't even know what to say. Let me read this synopsis here, right here. It says, facing a threat of his kingdom and his family, whoever this
Vlad taps.
Val taps in, taps makes it. You just got the guy's name wrong. Thank you very much for just
Vlad.
letting me.
No. I think Vlad might be coming from what supposedly the Dracula legend is based on.
I
Vlad the
know.
Impaler.
Okay, well, you know what?
I
This
don't.
ain't Vlad the Impaler. This is Vlad the Crybaby. All right, maybe let's continue reading here. Making a deal with the dangerous supernatural forces, while I don't
Whilst.
know, while
Wow.
trying to avoid a succumb to be the darkness himself. This is the most dumbest synopsis.
I want to see it.
You're a more braver person than I am. Sarah
Well, I
Gordon.
like. You have to
Sarah
remember
Gordon.
that I like B movies too. So.
I understand. You have a ball with this.
Oh yeah, I will.
I look.
Plus, it's like probably going to be a B movie with high, good graphics.
You know what this film's gonna be like? It's gonna be like Van Helsing. All the pretty special effects, all the pretty CGIs, not much story to be told. That's
That's
how
what
I
the
see it.
alcohol is for.
Uh-huh. Uh, this is gonna be a bomb. This is gonna be a bomb. Okay. This is gonna fail miserably.
Can
All
I
right.
set Skype
I think
on?
it's gonna make something, and it's gonna leave. It's gonna go away in a sense. It's already got bad reviews, and the film hasn't even come out yet. Um, is action. Look at how much they put down here. Action, drama, fantasy, horror, war. Are you kidding me?
Uh,
Oh god.
it can't be any dumber than
Go ahead.
sci-fi action.
This poster did
That
not
just
say anything
like
about drama.
puzzles me. It's like, wow, sci-fi has its own brand of action, and people are like, well, actually, it means like cartoony violence. It's like, just fucking say that.
Oh god. Oh listen. I was yearning for years to see an actual true story of the guy who inspired the legend. I wanted to see a story on that. I don't even have to be Dracula. Just tell about the story about this warlord who is a hero to some, but an enemy and a tyrant to others. I wanted to see that. If they would have told me this was about that and how he impaled people and actually drunk their blood, I would have been happy with that. I would have embraced this. This here is not an untold story. It is a fantasy that was written out of a fanfic that they decided to make a movie out of. It is an absolute
Maybe it'll be
disgrace.
better than 50 Shades.
Hey, look,
Well, anything
I
could
have
be better
never,
than
I
50
haven't read
Shades.
the book yet, so
Don't read
it
50 Shades. Don't, unless you need to do it. You know, if you're one of those poor souls that has to read or see something to have an opinion, then you have to read it. And if you like to torture yourself, you can read it. And if
well,
some of your friends are like, "Oh, this is a great book, read it,"
I'll say this and I'll move on. This film is gonna bomb.
I hope it
I'm
does
gonna.
good. Just because I would
No, I
love
know you hope.
it.
I don't see this film making no more than probably $40 million, and that's together. I don't see this film going anywhere higher than that. If this film makes money, it's a sad day for monsters and vampire movies that we grew up in the past. All right, this is that's a disaster here. All right, the next film that's like major movie is Addict. I believe that's what it's called.
Addicted. Addicted.
Addictive. Thank you. This is a film that is a drama slash thriller, and from what I understand, I don't have much to talk about this. I'll let you read the rank because I some of the stuff here says
A
a
gallerist risks her family and flourishing career when she enters into an affair with a talented painter and slowly loses control of her life.
okay. Well, that's pretty much it. Um, I don't know what to tell you about this film. It's rated R, it's 105 minutes, but that's pretty much it. I guess I got to see the trailers, get a better feel on it. But I don't know. I think it all depends on the star power and the word of mouth. I don't see it doing too well, but that's largely because I don't think people know what this is all about. So I can't really give a judgment. I do one thing though. The poster looks weird. The poster
Looks.
remind the poster reminds me of something else. So maybe it will do good. Maybe it's not. It can't do any worse than Dracula. I can tell you right now. All right. So
I would love to see you eat those words.
Mm-hmm. No, we'll find out. The box office will be next week, so we'll find out. So here are the films. Um, we both agree that the Judge may not be a hit, but it doesn't really matter. You feel that this is something that will showcase Robert Downey Jr.'s acting skills. We hope that it does well, where critics as well as the award will actually take notice. You said that Alexandra, terrible, horrible, good, bad, very bad day will probably be hit only because of the family value. I think it's going to be a miss. I'm praying you want Dracula to succeed.
Yeah,
I do not. So
I would
we,
just
we
I want to see. The next episode I come on of this show with you to see you freak out about that.
We'll definitely will talk about that.
Yeah.
And I can't really say much about Addict. I will say it will probably be
Addicted.
the toss-up.
Addicted. Addicted. Addict doesn't have
Yeah,
the
I'm keeping saying addictive. Yeah. My apologies.
It's
Addictive.
okay.
I
That's
think it's
why
gonna
I'm
be
here.
either a toss-up or a bomb.
I'm not
All
a
right.
fan of the
Now,
genre.
for those who like, I know.
What the?
Well, here it is. We got a couple of limited films that's been released here, so I might as well just get right straight down to it. I'm not gonna go into big deals here. But for those who want to know, Whiplash is going to be released this week as a limited release. Saint Vincent with Bill Murray is also going to be released. I'm a little surprised that's only an art house film. Kill the Messenger is also going to be released this week. One Chance. I Am Ali, which is something that I am very angry that has not been getting more clout about. We also have Dead
To
Snow
Red
2,
versus Dead.
Red versus Dead.
If you don't
A
know,
little
it's
surprised.
Nazi zombies. Nazi zombies. That's all you
Okay.
need to know to decide if you want to see it or not.
hmm Well, there's a lot of film that looks more interesting than the film I just talked about. The Overnighter. I have no idea what the hell that is. The Devil's Hand.
That's,
I don't know. This is. That actually looks interesting.
yeah, it's like
And that's pretty much it. So
when
those who are
young
looking for
girls
films and
start to
independent
go into
releases, art house films. hmm
yeah
So that's
the
pretty much all I gotta say about that. So
I think there's
I tell you one thing that one on the Evil versus Dead, I'm actually looking forward to.
Red
I
versus
actually want to
Dead.
see that one because that has something of making a surprise. Yeah,
It
I
just
actually have a
seems like a
pro. I have
good
to probably be a very
pure
good
and
film.
popcorn. It seems like one of those you don't really have to do any deep thinking, and sometimes you just need Nazi zombies.
Almost forgot before I go. I didn't actually look for this film. Remember that Crayon movie we talked about?
Oh fuck! Why did you remind me of it? Horrible bastard.
That film rating was so bad. I actually feel sorry for the movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel bad for it.
I really
I
did.
haven't seen it, and I'm not going to be okay.
Because here's the thing. But here's the thing, though. I'll tell you why. I know just by looking at that poster that should have been released on DVD. You don't release something like that. I don't care if it was a limited release. You don't release something like that on, on theater because no parent's gonna spend no money on that film. I don't even know how much money it made. I know it didn't make much. Um, but but I might review it. I might review it just for the fun of it. I might review it.
Fun.
Why not?
Listen, I'm torturing myself with all 350 Shades books, and even I say you're going too far.
Oh man. All right, that's pretty much sums up our show for this week. Kind of short, as one can expect when we're doing two podcasts. But before we go, you got anything you want to say before I sign off?
Why the fuck did you remind me of that stupid crayon movie? I'm like, oh, you should feel bad for how little it's done. Good for 'em.
That's all you gotta say, huh? No.
Unless you want me to turn to the Hulk mode and like Dad's, now home, so I can, yell as much as I want to about you reminding me of that piece of shit. And all I really saw was the damn poster.
So any shameful promotions you want to do, or we got or
Okay. The next Jash Talks, I'm going to be looking for guests. There's two nice, lovely positions for guests open. It's going to cover the horror genre as a whole. Games, movies, whatever. And next Amor's 3 repart should be out soon. And I think Zone 91. I forgot to mention this at the end of Jash Talks, but in Jash Talks they do like 50 million things for announcements anyway. So the second part of the first Zone 91 episode should be out basically whenever I get back from my fiance's house, because now Rista, my co-host, is saying that her schedule has cleared up enough that it probably will be likely to be able to do it soon.
All right. So, with me, pretty much, I'm gonna be doing some reviews that's gonna be coming out very shortly. I had to stop everything due to some serious personal matters that needed my attention. It was not a very good month and a half for me in terms of that, but everything seems to be slowly going back to normal, if you want to call it that. Parks of Adventure will have their second to last chapter on the Man in Red series posted on Matic Expression very soon. And movie reviews and the flashback review will also start being posted on the regular scheduled time. And as always, you can find us either on YouTube or at maticexpression.com. I will leave a link to below to the site. And you can check out not only my stuff but Joshkin's stuff, as well as other people who has posted videos and blogs on the website. So go on and check out the stuff at maticexpression.com. But until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I see you next Monday on J&J Mondays. Take it easy.
You won't see me. I'm getting out of this damn place. Hasta la
See you
vista,
next
baby.
time. All right.